Hey guys, welcome back to The Walking Dead. Today's video is going to be about reviewing the first episode of The Walking Dead ever. And I'm just going to start a series. I'm going to review the first one, second one, so on. And it's going to be a long time before I get all of them out. But that's the point. So I hope you guys enjoy this. This is my first time doing this, so hopefully you guys just enjoy it and just give me any tips on it, whatever. So yeah, let's do it. Okay, so this is going to be a spoiler review, and it's been out 10 years now. The Walking Dead's been out 10 years, and this is the first episode, so I would have hoped that you would have watched it. But if you haven't, go watch it, and then you can watch my videos as you watch it. Not at the same time, but but yeah, this has been out 10 years. So actually, the anniversary was the 31st of it was Halloween. That's when the 10th anniversary was for The Walking Dead, and I've been here since like 2016, 2017, something like that. And now I'm going to review it. I absolutely love The Walking Dead. It's my favorite show of all freaking time. Before, I would be like, I don't know what my favorite show is, but eventually I'm like, yeah, this is my favorite show. So I assume you guys have watched it. If you haven't, go watch it first and then come back to the review. Now let's get started. Okay, so we have a brief introduction to our main character, Rick Grimes. He's walking through these cars trying to get gas, and I assume this is the point of later in the episode when he's trying to go to Atlanta and his car needs gas or something like that. Then we cut to Rick and Shane, both as cops, talking and eating, talking about these women with lights and stuff like that. And the thing I love about this scene is it just shows two guys being guys, They both work at the same job. They're bros. They've been friends for a long time. They were like that in the comics. They're just best buds, And they're just chilling. They're eating. They're talking about girls and stuff. Shane doesn't have a wife, but I think he has a girlfriend, something like that. But Rick has a wife named Lori, and he has a son named Carl. And Rick is just talking about the struggles he's having with his wife and all that kind of stuff. And then they get a call. And part of the scene is kind of funny because when they're sitting there, they're all set up and everything, ready for this car to come. It's funny because Shane's like, yeah, it would be cool for on one of those shows. It's. I know I'm already pointing out the obvious, but it's just funny to me because they are on a show. I don't know. I love when they do that on shows. But yeah, so eventually Rick gets shot. That's the end of the scene. He gets shot, and then he goes to the hospital. He has to go in surgery. Shane goes and tells Lori about everything that happened. Then Lori has to tell Carl after he gets out of school, and then he cries, all that sad stuff. Then the next scene we get to is the classic Rick wakes up from the coma in the bed scene from, the comics. And he wakes up, he's like, nurse, he doesn't know what's going on. He still thinks like he just got out of surgery or something. And then like he gets up slowly. The hospital is completely abandoned. He takes all the tubes out. He starts walking down. He's wondering like where everybody is. Then he looks through the doors and he sees this woman. She's like eaten, like halfway eaten. Then he goes outside. He finds there's a whole bunch of dead bodies, all that kind of stuff. Then eventually he keeps walking and he finds this walker that's been like cut in half or something, and all his intestines are out and everything. And he kind of gets frightened by it, and he just grabs the bike and he rides home to his house. And the first thing he does is he goes inside, he looks around, tries to find Lori and Carl, and that's his family. He's trying to look for them, right? And it's the whole thing about this episode is looking for my family. He sees that all these things are packed, and there's stuff gone and everything, and he's thinking about, is this real? Is this really real, what I'm experiencing right now? And he hits himself on the head several times, just with his hand and whatever, trying to see if this is not just a dream. And it's not a dream. Then he goes outside, and he gets hit by a shovel, this kid named Dwayne. And Dwayne's dad comes out, and he shoots one of the walkers with a gun. He almost shoots Rick. Rick passes out. Then he wakes up, and he's like, I changed your bandage. And then he's like, did you get bit? Rick's like, I don't know, because is getting shot not enough? He's like, did you get bit? He's like, no, shot's all as far as I know. Okay, so I'm going to try not to explain everything. I know it might get annoying because you guys have already watched the episode and you already know what's going on, and it might be annoying for me as well. And I'm going to try to stay away from explaining everything, and I'm just going to explain the main parts. But the thing I like about this scene is that Rick does not know anything, you know? This is his first interaction in The Walking Dead since everything happened. He woke up in a coma. He doesn't know what's going on. This is the first person, you know? I'm like almost 11 seasons, like pretty much, into The Walking Dead. And this is the very first interaction. Just going back to this gives me nostalgia and it gives me memories. Okay, so Dwayne and Morgan, they teach him a little bit about what's going on in the world because he knows nothing. And they teach him a little bit of stuff. Dwayne, like his mom, comes up to the door and looks right into the peephole or whatever. And it's kind of weird for Walker to be doing that, but looks right in. Rick looks out, and then, you know, Dwayne starts crying because that's his mom and all that stuff. And it's really sad to see that, you know, for Dwayne, because imagine your mom being out there. Your mom is pretty much dead, but she's still walking around. Like, it's pretty much just to taunt you and be like, ha, I'm dead, you know? It's kind of like this virus is really screwed up. So that happens, and then eventually the next day they go to the police station, and then Rick gives him some guns. They shower. Rick gives him a radio, and he says, every day at dusk, I'm going to be on here. I'm going to try to communicate with you. Because Morgan didn't want to go to Atlanta with him, so he still wanted to stay in contact. So he did that, and then they parted ways, and then now Rick's on by himself. Now, as Rick is driving, he's trying to communicate with anybody out there on his radio from his car. He's like, anybody out there? Anybody out there? This is Rick Grimes. Anybody out there? Doesn't seem like there's anybody. He just keeps doing it. But then we get to go to this other group with Shane. Shane, and there's Lori, and there's Carl there, which is who he's looking for, of course. And he can't hear them, but they're trying to communicate back to him because they hear him. They cannot tell who it is. Shane probably would have been able to tell if it was more clear, but it wasn't that clear. They don't know who it is, and they try to say something back, but it's broken. Then we get to see that Lori and Shane are now together, and that's kind of suspicious if you're first watching this. Eventually, Rick runs out of gas, and he finds a horse. So he uses the horse to go into the city. Then he gets chased, like people, or not people, but walkers are running at him. Okay? There's a whole bunch, and they're all running at him. He's trying to get out. He falls off the horse. The bag of guns falls, and he climbs under the tank. He almost kills himself because he's like, oh, I do not want to get eaten. He's like, sorry, Lori. Sorry, Carl. And then he sees there's a hatch underneath the tank. So he climbs up in there. There's a walker in there, and he shoots it. And then, that's got to be loud, echo and everything. And then, yeah. And then at the end, the tank is just covered in zombies and walkers. And they're everywhere, and there's no escape. And Rick's just like, oh, crap, what am I going to do? He's just sitting on the ground like, oh, crap. And then he looks up because he hears a voice coming from the radio. And it's like, hey, you. Yeah, you in the tank. Cozy in there? And then it starts playing Space Junk. And that's the end. And that's the end of the episode. So this episode, it was a good episode. Like, I liked it. It's something that I haven't watched in a long time. And it's not one of my favorites because, there's so many episodes in The Walking Dead now. This one was simply the pilot and the one that got you into The Walking Dead. I remember watching this back then, and I don't even remember if I enjoyed it very much, but I just watched the next episode and I got really into it. So I don't think this is one of my favorites. I'm not going to rank this very highly on the list because, not a lot happens. And it's just a simple episode, and, I like it, but it's definitely not one of my favorites. It's just simply to get you into The Walking Dead. So I'm just going to give this a 5 out of 10 because, not a lot happens, and this is just simply to get you invested into The Walking Dead, the future episodes. And I think that this would be good. Just 5 out of 10 would be good for this one. For other ones, there's more things to analyze, more things to get into, and all that kind of stuff. So in the next episode, we will do that. And I think the next episode is way more interesting than this one. And this is just my review, guys, for episode 1, Days Gone By. Pretty simple episode. Nothing very interesting happens, like I've said before. And I think I don't really have very much else to say about it. I mean, just watch it. It's a really good show. So yeah, I think that's going to be the end of this review. Sorry, guys, if if I don't sound good, or if the audio doesn't sound good, or if I have trouble talking or whatever. I'm still trying to figure this whole thing out. So just please be patient with me on that, and tell me what other videos you want me to make and stuff like that, and I might make it. I do got college and a job, so I don't have all the time in the world, but I am still going to try to make videos like this because I enjoy it. So yeah, all right guys, thanks for watching. You guys have a good day.